乾杯。
乾杯。
Oh, that is refreshing.
はい。
Is this
Do you like
hot? Yes.
kimchi?
Yeah, no, I enjoy kimchi. Do you like kimchi?
I like
You're a
kimchi
big
a lot.
fan.
Yes. Is this cucumber or chili or?
Cucumber.
Cucumber. I like kimchi a lot actually. don't get it very much in the UK.
Yeah.
It's only started becoming a thing recently because basically Japanese barbecue and yakiniku and things like that have only started to happen in the UK, and I didn't know.
How's it in Italy?
In Italy, not basically they only know sushi, and it's the only food that's not Italian that Italians eat regularly. They don't trust anyone else's food. They're like, it's like grandma makes it, or no one, or it's not good. In fact, there's a famous restaurant in Italy called Osteria Francescana, I think, or something like that. It's one of Italy's most famous chefs, and it's in Modena, which is a very small, well, one of sort of middle-sized town, very old, lots of traditional food. And this restaurant has been named the best restaurant in the world 4 times in a row, and it almost closed down because people refused to eat the modernized Italian food. So it got saved basically by the fact that people now travel to the city just to go and eat there. Because Italians are so traditional in what they like about their food that they don't want to try anything new.
Where do you live in Italy?
So I'm from Florence, Firenze. Yeah,
Firenze.
yeah, the most beautiful place.
Yes.
Other places are nice too, but we're very proud of Florence. In fact, it's one of the reasons I studied history at university, because I wanted to know more about the history of my city. But I've lived in London most of my life, so I've only lived, I think, 2 years in Florence.
But you return often.
Yeah, I go all the time. My grandparents, cousins, all live there. Can we?
All right. Very excited. Itadakimasu.
どうぞ。
Okay, I'm gonna try the kimchi first. I do like kimchi.
Cucumber is very nice. Refreshing.
I really like kimchi. I always find Japanese kimchi and Korean kimchi taste different. I like them both, but I'm wondering, like, is there a reason for that? Why they taste a bit like? I think the flavors are maybe somewhat different. Do you know why? Or
Why?
do Japanese people prefer lighter taste?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel Korean kimchi tends to be a bit on the spicier side and a little bit more on the sharp, very heavily pickled side. Whereas I think Japanese kimchi maybe keeps more texture, a bit more crunch. Because it's a bit lighter, from what I've tried. It's very tasty, very good.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that's very good. I've missed good tomatoes. I haven't found very many of them.
Tomatoes very important to Italy.
Yeah. Basically, this is an Italian flag, right? Our most famous salad is literally all of the colors of our flag, right? It's basically this, but without extra mozzarella.
Oh yeah.
So do we mix
What
the
is-
daikon with the ponzu? Yeah.
Try this. What is this?
Very good.
Green pepper. Just with
It's,
the.
yeah, it's not spicy. It's like it's more like a bell pepper flavor, but tastier.
Zucchini. Very zucchini.
Very good.
And this is.
It's got that bell pepper bitterness that I quite like.
Yeah, particularly when it's a little bit charred. So,
Try the zucchini. And this also goes in the plums.
And this is Chinese yam.
Let's try the Chinese yams.
I don't think I've ever had Chinese yam.
Very good.
What does it taste like?
It's very crunchy, but in like a light sort of way. Right? Flavor-wise, it's quite neutral, I'd say. But what it does, I'm struggling to find like an analog for it.
Do you know this?
This
Cognac.
cognac.
What is cognac?
Cognac. Difficult to describe.
レモンをお好みで絞ってもらって、
はい
お塩か梅肉ソースね。
はい、ありがとうございます。
So you dip it in this sauce and then the salt.
Yeah, it's you know, ume.
Ume? Ah.
Very sour one.
Oh, the plum, yeah. Pickled plum.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
This is very famous onion. It came from Awajishima.
Awajishima.
Awajishima is between Hyogo Prefecture and
Just, how do you,
I guess you can just
you can
peel
take
off
off like a layer, yeah. Oh, and then do you put this in still? Fair enough.
I like ponzu sauce.
It's really good.
nice, sweet. It's
Very sweet.
Really? Oh,
Like it's almost caramelly. It's not like any onion I've ever had. It's the closest I can think of it. In Italy, we have a special onion called cipolla di tropea. It's like basically a very fat and quite long shallot, more than an onion. But this tastes a little bit like that, but even sweeter.
This is so.
Like sugar.
Is that actually? Where's this from? Sorry. Where?
Awajishima.
Awajishima.
Where is Awajishima?
Hyogo Prefecture. Awajishima.
I'm gonna try some octopus. So in here and then in the salt or no
Yeah,
salt?
if you like.
We'll try it first with just the sour. Octopus is one of my favorites actually.
I don't think I'd have ever come up with the combination of octopus and pickled plum, but it works so well.
Yeah, it's got that.
What is this? Sorry.
It's cognac.
Cognac.
Cognac. How can I say?
Yeah.
Cognac. Yes.
Made from potato.
Yeah.
From potato.
I don't know how.
It's a mystery.
Yes, I'll have to try.
It's like a jelly. It's made from the.
Cognac potato.
I'll show you the picture.
What? That was made from potato.
It has zero residual taste of potato.
It doesn't taste like potato. It's not the texture of potato. It's like
Potato.
a special potato. That is
Also a pretty wild looking potato.
Okay.
Ooh. That looks amazing. This might be the squid you were talking about.
I don't even know what that is, yeah.
This feels like a piece of squid. So it's got prawns and squid and stuff like that? Or
Hormone. Do you know
hormone?
hormone?
Ah, yeah. Hormone.
Hormone and kimchi.
Ah, I see.
What is it, sorry?
Hormone is like offal. Like different types of offal.
What? What's awful?
Offal is like innards.
Huh?
Innards.
Okay. And do we eat this plain or with the sauce or?
I think this has its own kimchi like.
Kimchi sauce, yeah. So this just we.
Yeah, you just grab it. Try this like crispy one on top, it's very good.
Very chewy. Yeah, we're not eating that much at one time because it will take you a year to chew.
Very tasty. Here in Japan for the first time I tried diaphragm. Because it's not a common piece of meat that we get in Europe, diaphragm. It's very tasty.
Do you know diaphragm?
I don't know.
So it's
Like
beneath your lung.
it's like a muscle that's shaped like this beneath your lungs, and it's what goes up and down when you breathe. So, and it helps you sing.
Mm.
横隔膜.
Yeah. But we don't eat it in Europe.
You don't eat.
Not diaphragm.
At least I've never
had it.
seen it, but I've had it here and it's very tasty. I've always had it yakiniku, like grilled, and it's very soft and like tasty. They're good.
ここでエビのもチーズ焼きシーフードグラタンですね。
Oh,
スプーンで召し上がってください。
はい、ありがとうございます。
that's cheese and meat.
Cheese and fish.
シーフードグラタン。
Seafood.
Seafood.
まあもし食べたらもうこれが最後だよ。
Oh, is it? It's served in the shell.
Yes.
Thank you. Very kind. This is very tasty. I've never had anything like this. In Europe, we don't have much fish with cheese.
No, we don't.
You have lobster and shellfish with cheese sometimes. I guess this is a shellfish more than fish. I'm going to try a little piece of meat. It's very tasty. Sugoi.
Good stuff.
Do you like highball? Highball.
ボール。
2杯2つください。はい。Have you had the beef yet?
I have, and it is very lovely.
It's very tasty.
I'm actually kind of just vibing with these veg. Like,
Yeah,
these fruits.
Yeah, the beef here is also kind of different than we have in the UK, and generally in Europe we prepare it very differently. And here it tends to be even tastier, a bit more fatty. Like the best beef is Japanese beef. And in Tuscany, in Florence, if they heard me say that, they would say that I'm no longer Tuscan. We're very proud of our meat.
ここでお好み焼きいきます。豆腐しはかけちゃっていいですか？はい。いいですか？青のりとあるんで、お好みで、はい、
ありがとうございます。
はい、
はい。
どうぞ。
That's it's bonito flakes, right?
Yes.
What are bonito flakes? What is bonito?
It's like a
Is that a fish?
yeah, it's a like a family of the tuna, but it's smaller, and they dry it. I think that's why it like dances.
Yes. One more.
Yeah.
Cheese. Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, that's very tasty.
Oh, really?
Very good.
What is?
So it's got prawns and squid in it.
Is that like a batter? What's the carbohydrate here? Flour and an egg. Flour and egg. So it's like a like a sort of cake batter.
Yeah, it's like a savory cake with seafood in it.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Japanese pizza. Japanese pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, scoop.
Ah.
Yep.
Good. Oh, there are noodles in there as
So
well.
this is a.
Yes.
So this is like a sort of rice noodle fried mix. Oh god, I'm gonna struggle with this.
It's called soba meshi.
Koba meshi.
Soba.
Soba meshi. Soba is soba noodle.
It's noodle.
Soba.
Oh,
Meshi
soba
is
meshi.
rice.
Ah,
Yeah.
soba meshi. I've never had this before.
Yeah, I know.
That's tasty.
Is affogato Italian? Affogato. Affogato.
Affogato. Oh yeah. So it's got coffee in it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Pistachio.
Ah, okay. I thought this was matcha.
It's espresso and vanilla ice cream, and this is pistachio. Pistachio.
Pistachio.
Gelato.
Gelato.
Yes.
What's that called?
Pistachio.
Pistachio.
Pistachio. Double CH. Key.
Italian people say pistachio.
Pistachio, yeah.
Pistachio.
We do not. We call it pistachio.
Yeah, I know.
That's so strange. I never knew.
Also, you decide which you.
Okay. I want to try this one actually.
Yeah, try that one
I'm
first.
excited because I've never had this before.
Oh, have you not?
No.
It's very typical. If you ever go to Capri, that'll be €15 worth of espresso with it. It's good pistachio. I've also had, in fact, it's the best ice cream I've ever had that's not my local ice cream place in Italy. I've had here in Japan. Better than any place I've had in England,
Wow.
in the US.
Where was it?
It was in Okinawa. So it was an American style ice cream, but it wasn't as like aggressively sweet as American ice creams tend to be.
It's an interesting drink. The Darjeeling and Shochu mix. It's quite.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Um,
Here, the city.
it's this. That makes sense.
How's Japan so far? Amazing. I've still got a lot to visit. I haven't been to Kyoto or Osaka or that area yet, so I'd like to go there. But everything's been amazing. I love the food. Thank you. And everyone's very nice. Like, people are very kind here in a way that, like, London not so much. So it makes me feel nice to be somewhere where everyone. It's also very. Yeah, it's a very different approach to things. I think like London, everyone's always a little bit angry at you. Everyone's in a rush, but not in a pleasant way. They're always just like they'll like be incredibly angry if they miss like a Victoria Line train, but the Victoria Line literally passes every 45 seconds. Yeah. I don't know. London is a very aggressive place in lots of ways, and Tokyo is very unique as like a big metropolis city. When I was going from the airport to my hotel on my first day, I didn't know how to use the fare adjustment machines to like change trains, and I went to ask one of the station staff, and he didn't speak any English. I didn't speak any Japanese, so he did everything for me. And instead of like doing it and then going back to his office area, he walked me to the platform and waited for me to get on the train, and then said goodbye, and then went back to like he was very. Because he saw like this poor tourist that had no idea what was going on with 2 suitcases, a backpack, like what's going on, like I can't read anything that's going on. And even though he like had difficulty communicating with me, he found a way to like not just help me, but like get me to where I needed to be, exactly where I needed to be, how I needed to be there. And I think that sort of was like the first experience of like in Japan, like people are just so welcoming, it seems to me, compared to in a lot of other places that I've visited. Very welcoming, very kind, very generous. So I really appreciate it here. I like the place, and I'd like to come back, spend more time here. It was very amazing. Plus, all the food is amazing, and I love food. I'll eventually be incredibly fat. I think that's my path in life, is to grow this way now.
How was today?
It was lovely.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
So much fun. So much fun.
Thank you. The food was amazing, and it was very nice to meet you.
Thank you.